Good evening, y'all, and welcome back to the Interrogation Room, where we shine a light on the big questions for doll enthusiasts in a classic noir style. I'm Wendy, the no-nonsense secretary here at the Doll Detective Agency. Dollmutt Newton, you might know him as the legendary doll detective himself, is out on a case tonight. Something about a mysteriously missing doll shoe, bless his heart. So it looks like I have the office all to myself. Why, that gives us the perfect chance to have a nice heart-to-heart chat, just you and me. Tonight, I've got a fresh case file open on the desk. Our case. What's the value of owning a second doll? If you're a beginner doll buyer or new to the doll community, you might be wondering whether bringing home a second synthetic companion is worth it. Maybe you already adore your first doll and you're curious what a second could offer. Well, sugar. Pour yourself a cup of coffee and get comfortable. We're fixing to gather the clues and evidence on why a second doll can be a real game changer for folks like you. Before we dive in, let me give y'all a quick preview of the investigation tonight. I have spent hours and hours reading blog after blog, post after post on TDF, and well, by the end of our little interrogation, we'll have covered a few key reasons seasoned doll owners often cite for adding a second doll to their lives. We'll look at photography versatility, how two dolls can double your fun behind the camera, companionship variety, the different ways an additional doll can enrich your day-to-day life, material differences like TPE versus silicone. Ever been curious about how the two materials compare? We'll get into that. And some practical benefits like storage and usage tricks that a duo of dolls can offer. No hard sales pitch here, just honest, down-to-earth insights. All right, if y'all are ready, let's crack this case together. Now, first things first, why even consider a second doll? Let's start with one of the most enjoyable aspects for many doll owners, photography. If you've dabbled in photographing your doll or just posing her for fun, you already know how rewarding it can be. Adding a second doll opens up a whole new world of creative versatility. With two dolls, you can create dynamic scenes and tell stories through your photos that just aren't possible with one doll alone. Imagine posing two dolls together. Maybe they're friends enjoying a movie night or models doing a glamorous photo shoot duo. You can experiment with interactions, perspectives, and themes. Doll enthusiasts often love staging their dolls in elaborate setups. Having an extra doll is like having an additional actor in your personal photo studio. In fact, some avid collectors, like one gentleman named Everard, have been known to take multiple dolls, Rebecca and Junev in his case, out to scenic spots for photo shoots. Two dolls let you play with depth in a shot. One doll can be in the foreground, the other in the back, creating a richer scene. Not into professional photography? That's all right. Even casual snapshots around the house become more fun. One doll can wear one style while the other complements it. One could be the photographer and the other the model, if you're feeling playful. Essentially, a second doll doubles your photo opportunities. You get to explore different outfits, wigs, and poses on each doll, and even have them interact. It can rekindle that initial excitement you had photographing your first doll, because now you have new combinations to try. I've seen folks in the community share adorable or artistic pictures of their dolls together, whether it's two dolls lounging on a sofa or a dramatic scene of Detective Dollmutt's two witnesses reenacting a case. Okay, that last one might have been Dollmutt's idea of art. The point is, from an artistic and creative standpoint, two dolls provide variety and depth that one alone might not. If you're the kind who enjoys Instagramming your doll or just keeping a personal album, a second doll can inspire you to snap away with newfound enthusiasm. Next up, let's talk about companionship. Many doll owners form a personal bond or routine with their dolls, whether it's watching TV together, cuddling, or chatting at the end of a long day. And trust me, after dealing with Dollmutt's antics at the agency, I know the value of a calm companion. Owning a second doll can bring a delightful variety to that companionship. Each doll can have a distinct personality or presence that you get to imagine and enjoy. For example, You might treat your first doll as your cozy movie night partner, while the second one feels more like a muse for your creative projects or a reading buddy. Having 2 dolls gives you a chance to experience different interactions and moods. One doll might have a sweet, innocent face that cheers you up, and your second doll might have a sultrier or more mature look that suits other moments. It's similar to how we have different friends for different interests. Maybe one friend you go hiking with and another you confide in. Here, one doll might be the one you display in the living room to greet you when you come home, and the other stays in the study where you two have quiet time. It's variety and companionship without judgment or complication, and it can be very comforting. Also consider the aesthetics and emotional presence. 2 dolls can make a home feel a bit more alive. Some doll owners even report that adding a second doll makes the environment feel more like a little community or family. You might enjoy dressing them in complementary outfits, setting them up together on the couch as though they're friends themselves. It can alleviate loneliness in a different way than a single doll, because you perceive a form of social scene, as if your dolls keep each other company too when you're not around. I know one of our listeners joked that when he got a second doll, he'd come home and pretend he's interrupting a conversation between his 2 girls. Cute, isn't it? Of course, how you bond with your dolls is deeply personal. Some folks primarily consider them as artistic models or toys, while others treat them almost like partners or family. As a recent article highlighted, many doll owners have different approaches. Some use their dolls mainly for photography or artistic expression, and a small percentage treat their dolls like full-blown spouses. Most are somewhere in between. The beauty of a second doll is you get to explore a second relationship dynamic on your own terms. It's all your comfort and imagination. If your first doll taught you about companionship and you found it rewarding, a second doll can expand that feeling in new directions. And sometimes having 2 dolls can even make you appreciate each one more. You'll notice the unique things you love about each doll's look and feel. All right, let's move on to something a bit more technical but important for a lot of beginners: the material of the doll. Most realistic dolls these days are made of either TPE or silicone. If you have one doll made of one material, getting a second doll made of the other material can be a real eye-opener and enhance your overall doll experience. Let's break that down a touch, nice and easy. TPE, which stands for thermoplastic elastomer, is a soft rubber-like material. TPE dolls tend to be softer and very lifelike to the touch, often with a pleasing jiggle or squishiness in all the right places. This softness means many folks find TPE dolls great for cuddling and intimacy. They warm up to body temperature quickly and feel supple. However, TPE is a porous material, so it can absorb moisture or oils, meaning it needs a bit more diligent cleaning and careful maintenance to stay fresh. TPE dolls can also be a tad more prone to stains. For example, dark clothing can transfer dye if you're not careful, and over time they might show a bit more wear if not cared for properly. On the upside, TPE dolls are generally more affordable, offering a budget-friendly option for buyers. If your first doll is TPE, you likely know she requires regular TLC, cleaning, powdering, maybe the occasional mineral oil rub to keep the material hydrated. Silicone dolls, on the other hand, are made of a high-quality silicone rubber. Silicone is typically more durable and resistant to wear. It's a non-porous material, which means a silicone doll doesn't stain as easily and is simpler to clean. Dirt or liquids mostly stay on the surface. Over the long haul, silicone can handle heat and pressure better, so these dolls often have a longer lifespan with less risk of tearing. The trade-off? Silicone dolls historically were a bit firmer to the touch than TPE. They hold their shape very well, great for detailed sculpting and realistic features, but the older silicone blends felt less fleshy. That said, newer silicone formulations have improved a lot, and many premium brands boast very soft silicone now, sometimes nearly as soft as TPE. Still, you'll likely find a silicone doll's skin feels smooth but slightly firmer, and she might be a little heavier due to the material's density. Also, silicone dolls tend to be more expensive than TPE dolls. In return, you get incredible lifelike detail, realistic skin texture, finely molded facial features, permanent makeup, etc., as well as that easier maintenance. Some advanced silicone dolls even come with fancy features like built-in heating or interactive elements, given that higher price range. So, why does this matter for owning a second doll? Well, if you started with a TPE doll, adding a silicone doll to your collection can let you directly experience the difference and see which you prefer for different activities. You might find you love cuddling with your softer TPE gal at night, but you adore photographing your silicone lady because her details pop on camera. Silicone's realism can be great for photography and makeup detail, or vice versa. Perhaps your silicone doll's sturdiness makes you comfortable moving her around more often, while your TPE doll might require a gentler touch, so you reserve her for quieter moments. By having one of each, you essentially become a savvy investigator of materials, learning firsthand the pros and cons of both. On the flip side, if your first doll is silicone, you may be curious about TPE's renowned softness. A TPE second doll could surprise you with how huggable she is, or how her limbs have a bit more flexible give. Each material has its charm. TPE is plush and warm, silicone is smooth and resilient. As one guide notes, TPE dolls offer that plush touch and flexibility, whereas silicone dolls provide ease of care and a slightly firmer, more robust build. There's no universal better material. It's about personal preference. Owning one of each lets you appreciate the full spectrum of what modern dolls can be. It's like owning both a classic car and a luxury SUV. They ride differently, and you enjoy them for different reasons. Before we move on, just a quick note. If you do go for a second doll with a different material, take time to learn the care routine for each. Your TPE gal will need that baby powder spa day now and then, whereas your silicone gal might just need a simple wash and she's good to go. It might sound like extra work, but many owners actually enjoy the rituals of caring for their dolls. And with two different materials, you become quite the expert in doll care. Now, let's delve into some practical benefits of having a pair of dolls. This might not be as glitzy as the other reasons, but honey, it's important for making your day-to-day with dolls easier and more enjoyable. One immediate practical perk is wear and tear distribution. If you have two dolls, you're likely to alternate between them for various activities, which means each individual doll gets a bit of a break. For instance, if you regularly spend time with your doll every night, having a second one allows you to rotate usage. Doll A can rest or be stored safely on some days, while Doll B keeps you company and vice versa. This can potentially extend the lifespan of both dolls because neither is being continuously handled 24/7. It's a bit like having two favorite outfits. Alternating them means each one stays in good condition longer. Similarly, if you're into dressing up your dolls, two dolls can share a wardrobe. This is both a fun and a practical benefit. You can mix and match outfits between them. Your red dress might look one way on your blonde silicone doll and give a totally different vibe on your raven-haired TPE doll. Also, clothing that might be slightly loose on one doll might fit the other perfectly, depending on their body shapes. You'll have a broader range of looks to enjoy without necessarily buying double the clothes. And since dolls often can share things like wigs and accessories too, your styling options increase exponentially with a second doll. It's like your fashion dolls now form a mini closet collective. More combinations to try on. More reasons to play dress up on a lazy Sunday afternoon. Now, let's talk storage and space. At first, you might think two dolls will simply take up double the room, but there are smart ways to manage this. If space is tight, you might consider diversifying the size or type of your second doll. Perhaps your first doll is a full 5 feet 5 inches life-size beauty who lives in your bedroom closet when not in use. For a second doll, you might opt for a slightly smaller model or a lighter weight doll that's easier to tuck away or move around. Some owners intentionally choose their second doll to be more portable, for example, a smaller 140 centimeter doll instead of another 170 centimeters. making her simpler to handle and store discreetly when needed. If lifting a heavy doll is something you struggle with, a second doll that's lighter can be a backsaver. In fact, one doll owner noted that after his first doll, he specifically looked for a lighter second doll because the weight of the first was challenging over time. So a second doll can be chosen strategically to fit your living situation better. Another practical angle is backup and downtime. Think about those times you might need to do maintenance on your doll. Maybe a joint tightened, a repair, or a thorough cleaning that requires her to dry out for a day. If you have only one doll, that means a period of emptiness, your companion's temporarily out of service. But with two dolls, when one needs maintenance or a bit of recovery time, you still have the other for companionship. It's a relief knowing you're not entirely without a doll's presence when one is getting some TLC. It also reduces pressure on you to rush repairs or cleaning. You can take your time fixing doll A while spending time with doll B. Less stress, more enjoyment. And speaking of cleaning, having two dolls means you might split tasks. Maybe you clean them on alternating weekends rather than one doll every week. The routine can feel lighter when spread out. Plus, you'll have learned tricks cleaning one that make cleaning the second easier, and vice versa. One more often overlooked benefit. If you're a bit of a tinkerer or like to customize, a second doll gives you room to experiment. You might try a new wig makeup style or even a different storage method, like one doll hanging on a stand while the other stays in a foam bed, to compare what works best. You won't be putting all your eggs in one basket, so to speak. For example, if you're curious about modifying a doll's makeup or trying a different internal heating system, you might feel more comfortable testing on one doll while knowing you still have another unmodified doll is a sure thing. It's added flexibility to explore the hobby. Lastly, on the day-to-day level, having two dolls can simply be double the joy in small ways. You might place one in your bedroom and one in the living area, so wherever you go at home, you have a friendly face waiting. It can be quite uplifting. I've heard from listeners who say waking up and seeing two dolls seated together by the window makes the house feel warm and welcoming. It's not clutter if done right. It can actually be a lovely personal aesthetic. Of course, be mindful of your privacy and who you let into your space. Not everyone understands our little hobby after all. But within your own safe space, two dolls can make it feel more like home. That was a lot of ground to cover, wasn't it? Let's recap the main findings from our investigation, nice and simple. Photography. Versatility. A second doll allows for creative photo sessions with multiple subjects. You can pose dolls together for richer scenes, try new angles, and double your fun in doll photography. It opens up storytelling possibilities, whether you're an artist or just snapping pics for your own enjoyment. Two dolls equals twice the inspiration behind the camera. Companionship variety. With two dolls, you can enjoy different kinds of companionship. Each doll can have a unique vibe or personality that you create, bringing more warmth and diversity to your experience. It's like having two close friends instead of one, each special in her own way. One might be your cuddly comfort on quiet nights and the other your cheerful greeter in the morning. The emotional fulfillment can increase when you have more than one doll sharing your life. Material comparison, TPE versus silicone. Owning one doll of each material lets you appreciate the distinct advantages of both. TPE offers incredible softness and affordability, while silicone offers durability, easy cleaning, and stunning realism in features. By having one of each, you become well-rounded in doll care and enjoyment. You'll know exactly what it feels like to hug a plush TPE body versus a smooth silicone body, and you might even designate different activities for each based on their strengths. Practical benefits, storage and usage. Two dolls can actually make life easier in several ways. You can rotate their use to reduce wear on each, share clothing and accessories, expanding both dolls' wardrobes without doubling the cost, and choose a second doll that complements your space and physical comfort. For instance, a lighter or smaller doll if your first doll is large and heavy. Plus, when one doll is out for cleaning or repair, You have a backup companion. Overall, 2 dolls can enhance convenience and reduce downtime, all while making your home feel more personal and lively. Those are our key pieces of evidence in favor of owning a second doll. Of course, every doll owner, will weigh these factors differently. There's no one-size-fits-all answer, but now you've got the information to make an informed decision. Well, would you look at that? We've just about closed the case on tonight's topic. The value of owning a second doll comes down to creativity, companionship, curiosity, and convenience. If you ask me, that's a pretty compelling mix of reasons, but only you know what's right for your situation. Maybe this chat has sparked some ideas for you, or maybe you've realized you're perfectly happy with just 1 doll for now. Either way, I hope you found our little investigation helpful and reassuring. Here in the interrogation room, our goal is to shed light, not to pressure. Like a good Southern hostess, I just want to make sure y'all feel informed and welcome. Speaking of welcome, I do believe I hear Dollmutt finally returning from that shoe hunt case of his. Sounds like he tracked down the perpetrator. I reckon I'll have a funny story to hear once we're off the air. But for now, it's time to wrap up. Thank you so much for joining me tonight for this solo episode. I must say I enjoyed our little one-on-one. You're welcome back here anytime. After all, the door to the interrogation room is always open for friends. If you liked this episode, go on and let me know somehow. Dollmutt and I have plenty more cases to cover and questions to answer for doll enthusiasts like you. Until next time, take care of yourselves and your dolls. And as we say down here in the South, y'all come back now, you hear?